Greetings, this is Mr. Curious from Resident Evil Modding Forums. I'm here today to present a tutorial on the Resident Evil 4 UHD ETS and ITA tools by Son of Persia. I'd like to thank him for allowing me to beta test these. So I'm going to jump right into it and let you guys know that we'll be dealing with some other tools today to help us along our workflow. This will include the LFS tool to remove the LFS extension from any files we're dealing with. We're going to need the Resident Evil 4 UHD UDAS tool, the ETS tool, and the ITA tool. The ETS tool is responsible for the placement of ETM models in the game. Our last tutorial dealt with creating a custom ETM model with this horse head shape here. And so essentially what we're going to do today is move some of those breakable and movable ETM models around using the ETS tool. And then we're going to follow up by placing items of our choosing with the ITA tool. So essentially what the ETS does is governs the placement of ETM models, and the ITA governs what we place in those models. And we can also use the ITA to place items, treasures, weapons, and ammunition anywhere in the game. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to open up a room file. For this particular one, I'll choose the most popular village center. So I'm in my Resident Evil Bio 4 directory going into stage 1, and then we're going to look at R101. Here is the original version. We need to remove the LFS extension, so I'm just going to copy that and paste it into a folder with the tools that have been provided for you guys, the LFS tools, and run the bat file. You'll see now that the LFS extension has been removed. I'm going to cut that and place that into a working directory with our UDAS tools here, and I'm just going to paste that. Now we have our 101 UDAS, and we're going to extract that. Now you'll see that a folder has been created with an IDX, which is the index of all the files inside here. So we're going to be dealing with two files today, which is the ETS and the ITA, which is usually number 25, but in this case it's number 30. So we're just going to, let's copy the ITA, and we're going to paste that in a folder with the ITA tools. I didn't put the extract in there either. So okay, so we have the ITA. We're going to extract that. Now we have an object and a text file. And let's do the same thing with the ETS file. Copy that and put it into a working directory with our ETS tool. We're just going to paste that here and extract it. We also have an object and a text file. The object contains a bunch of models that are responsible for the position, and the text file contains a bunch of IDs for the model and other things that we can do, like changing the rotation, and basically it's like a cue sheet for which items we're going to place. So the next thing we're going to do actually is to take the SOT file and open this up. So we're going to copy that and put that in with the SOT EAT tool and then extract that. What this does is creates a model object of the entire room. We're going to copy this directory here and open up 3ds Max. And we're going to import that object file that we just created for the SAT file. And you can see this is the R101 room. Now what I like to do is freeze the top layer so that we don't move anything around by mistake. We can also set all the sub-objects to be defined by the layer so that whatever properties the top layer has, all the sub-object layers will have. So now we're going to set this property to wireframe. And now we have a nice frozen wireframe version of the room. Now we do this because we need a point of reference for the following files that we're going to import. So next what we're going to do is activate the ETS layer there, and we're going to go into the ETS folder where we extracted the object for that. We're going to copy this and then just import. Again, pasting that directory, and you'll see that these are all the item locations in R101. You'll see that they're all highlighted upon import. If you zoom in, you'll see that what these are actually just single polygons which determine the position of all the ETS items. So if you're familiar with this room, you'll see that we come in here from the beginning of the game and we exit by this door to go to the farm. So now that we know there's a door here. You can see that that's positioned perfectly in the center there. What's here? I think that's a dresser. There's a barrel here. There's a box on this desk. I think this is a barrel. And to figure out what these are, we can look in the text file. So we know that this one here is a barrel from memory from playing the game, but let's confirm that by looking in the ETS text file. So I opened that up here, and this is the ETS text file, and that's item 26. So if we scroll down to almost to the bottom, we'll see that that is ETM number 1E. So if we were to actually open up the ETM models for 101, and I probably have that here. Yes, I do. So these are all the files for that. None of them have been extracted, so I would just take the bin model tools and paste them in here. This is the ETM file that has all the models of the breakable things and movable things, like ladders, torches, and whatnot. So if we look at these models in Noesis, what did our text file say? This is model 1E. So 1E here, ET1E? Yes, it's a barrel there. I think, yeah, ET1E. Yeah, so if we were to look at, what is this model, this door here? Extra item number 3. We go to the ETS file here and look up number 3. Model ETM number is 3. So then we would look here and see, okay, that's the effect. So it'll be 300. There's the door with no textures applied. And so we can look all over this room and see different, okay, this one we know is a ladder, because that takes us up to the second level here. So item 5 is going to be ETM number 6, and to confirm that, we look in Noesis here. Sorry, I keep pulling up the wrong thing. ETM 6, there's the ladder. Okay, so you understand now how these file naming conventions work with the ETM models that we see in an extracted ETM file as shown in the last video. And now you see the naming conventions, how they are in the ETS file. So what we can do now is go ahead and look at where the locations of some of these things are. For example, we can look at this door here and move it, grabbing just the X and Y handles, and we'll move it somewhere closer to where we spawn. We know that the ground height here is 0, so I'm going to lower that down so it's not floating in the air. And then now we can just simply select all of these models and export them to the ETS folder in our working directory. Then we repack those, drag our new ETS into our UDAS mod folder, and then repack the UDAS. Now we should have a door that is not where it should be, or where it should be, depending on how you look at it. There it is. So we can use other parts of the file to change things like the rotation. You'll see that the functionality of the door is embedded in wherever it is, so the little on-screen message is there. So if we go and look at the text file and see that, which number is that again? It's number 3 in the ETS. This is our door here. You can always put a note in because the tool doesn't read anything with the hashtag on it. Let's say we want to rotate the door 90 degrees. So we're just going to add 90 degrees there and press save. And then again, just simply repack. Drag the ETS into our UDAS. Repack UDAS. Oops. What have I done? I've dragged the UDAS onto the tool instead of the shortcut. And now we'll see that our door is rotated 90 degrees. Yep. So it's pretty easy to move stuff around and rotate it. So the next thing we can do then is to let's have some fun with some of these barrels. We know there's a barrel here, and so let's do the same thing and just move that barrel down the path closer to where we spawn, putting it at 0 height. And just for learning purposes, let's make another barrel. Let's copy it, change it to 28 because 27 is our last one, and just move it a little bit over. And then we're going to export all of those. Now this has 29 models now instead of 28. So that means we're going to have to go into the text file and update this to be 29. And we're also going to copy our door from 26 and place it at the bottom of the file. We're going to update this for our reference, 2728. And finally, we're going to update the ETS ID to be 1 higher than the last one, which is 23. And why don't we change the model to 11, which is the barrel that stands up instead of 1E. So we've changed the model, we've changed the ID, and we've updated the item data count. And now we're good to repack the ETS file. Oh, something's wrong. I must have done something wrong. So from 0 to 28, let's double check our file. 0 to 28. I'll try a different ETS ID, 24. See, sometimes it's just the little things that make a difference. There may have been a conflict with another one. It's very likely that there was 23 already used in here, or it's being used by some other script. So that's been repacked. Sometimes I work very quickly and I don't remember if I've done stuff or not. So yes, we've repacked that. So let's have a look now to see if our two new barrels are where they should be. Yes, so we have one barrel laying down and one on the side. Those are actually separate models. We'll check and see if there's any goodies inside. Nope, nothing there. No treasure for Christmas. But what we're going to do now for the next part of the tutorial is to look at the ITA file, which handles the placement of items throughout the game. So I'm just going to hide all those models so there's no confusing with the incoming models from the ITA. And basically you're going to you're going to go to your working folder. We've already extracted the ITA, and we open this folder and we're going to extract this object. So we copy this and then we open it in here, and there it is. Okay, so we see a bunch of polyhedrons that are the trigger zones that are either shaped like this and big squares, or they're shaped like these elongated long things here. In the case of the long ones, essentially they all point to a central point, which is 0x, 0y, 0z, and they all reach out into the proximity of their counterparts. So if we look at this, what is this? This is a whole bunch. Actually, what happens when you load this game, and you'll notice this in a lot of rooms, the developers included the models and just made big piles of them, and you can see that there's a whole bunch here. There's a gold, there's a weapon, the manual, darts, all this stuff. Some of these things will be modded. So that's this pile that you see right here, and that's 40, 39, 38. So let's move that pile of stuff here and scatter it around to our liking. Now you'll notice there wasn't a trigger zone near there, if I recall correctly, and I'm not sure how that all works with these elongated things. When I first started doing the research for these tools, I had no clue that the trigger zone even made a difference, and I still don't know if it actually does. I never quite use them. I just basically move these things and it works. If it doesn't, then I go and I move one of the trigger zone models. Okay, so now we've moved a bunch of that treasure that already exists. Let's see if we can extract it to the ITA working directory. So we're just overwriting that object file that was there. A material file's been created, but it's irrelevant. Repack the ITA, drag it into the UDAS folder, and repack. And now we should see a bunch of swag located right where we spawn. Where did this stuff go? Here it is. Okay, so it's all scattered around here. You can see the stuff blinking. Okay, so let's take something here and stick it in these barrels over here. So for example, let's take the first aid spray and the rifle ammunition and stick them in those two barrels. So it's a bit of work to do with the ITA text file. Essentially, we need to identify what each thing is first. So I presume the first one here is the first aid spray. To check out what that is, we look at the ITA file in the hex editor and see item 39 location. I'm just going to check my video, make sure my audio is working. Yes, it is. Okay. Item 39. Here we are. And item number is 47, looking in the list here. Oh, that's the shotgun. Well, let's go ahead and do that. Let's put the shotgun inside that other thing. So to do that, we have to change a whole bunch of stuff, in the text file. I'm going to shrink this a little bit so we can see it. And we're just going to name this shotgun. Okay, so to do this, I'm going to open up the tutorial that I've written, because I don't even remember exactly how this is done. We're going to scroll down to the part that says ITA values. Appearance type is what we need to change. If the value is 0, it always appears. So if we look at appearance type now, yes, it is always appearing. If we change that to 2, it does not appear until the box or barrel or whatever it's in, the vase. If it's number 1, it will be from an enemy. So the first thing we're going to do then is change that to be number 2. And here we go. About I think the category might have to be changed, but I'm not wrong. Okay, no, that's it. The next part is the ETS ID. So when the value of appearance type is other than 0, which in our situation it's 2, the ETS ID value indicates which breakable container the enemy is in. Okay, if we wish to have enemies spawn items, oh, that's enemies, so forget that. So the ETS ID is the next part. So let's turn on the models for our ETS and go back to there. Okay, there's our barrel. And this is ETS 3. I should have remembered that. So if we go to number 3 here, this is entry 3, or extra item 3, which is entry 3. Oh, that's the door. Shoot. We got to go back and find these guys. Yeah, they're both here. Oh yeah, 26 and 28. Sorry, I'm tired. So if we go back to the last one we made, which is 28, our ID is 24. That is the number that needs to be placed in here. And so we'll just start with 1. So now we're going to save this file. Oh, and also, when we do this, that thing that we're moving has to be placed at 0. So we're going to place this position at 0 and 0. Well, that's strange. I thought 0 was here. That's where the pile was. That's strange. I need to look at this for a minute. Yeah, this is 0 here. Oh, sorry, this is relative to something else. Hang on. Anyway, we're going to stick this at 0. Best way to do that is to select all the vertices, isolate that, and stick this at 0, 0, 0. Okay? And we can place all the height at 0. Oh shit, I need to anyway, that should work. This one is at 0. Sorry, this is the right angle here, 0, 0, 0. I don't like to have everything, I like to have everything sort of uniform as far as height and stuff goes. Okay, so now everything in our right angle is at 0. So we're going to have to export this again to our ETS. We're not moving. Oh, did I? Shit, I just overwrote the ETS by mistake, and that should have been the ITA. We're going to the ITA and exporting that. And to save our ETS, I can simply extract it because I didn't repack. So now the object file in here has been restored. So now we can repack the ITA. All this info has been changed, the ETS ID and the appearance type. So repack, ITA, bam, and oh yeah, this got updated. I want to see that. Anyway, and then we drag this in here and repack the UDAS. And we should have the shotgun in the barrel now. There it is. Okay? Pretty easy, but we've learned how to. So where's the item? I don't see it now. Oh yeah, so the problem is, I think the item is actually over, I think the model is going to be over here somewhere. I don't know why I can't see the model. Sometimes it should be there. Sorry, I'm trying to navigate. Let me get rid of these guys. They're starting to get under my skin. Let's have a look at that again. I've encountered this issue that sometimes the object is not where it should be, despite that the trigger zone for it is there. I'm trying to get beneath the floor here to see where this thing is. Is it actually here? I don't see it. That's a very handy feature that Razor's put in his trainer, is this use Z and IK to move up and down. So I'm just going to have a quick look at, basically we're going to look right here for the model because it doesn't make sense to me why it's not where it should be. Well, that's odd. We can try it again with another object, or we can actually look where, I don't see it here. I don't know, maybe I'm tired and I can't see it. In any case, let's try and do the same thing with another one of the objects. So this is item 29. Okay, changing the appearance type to, what did it say, 2 or 1? Oh yeah, it's number 2. ETS ID is going to be, I think it's 26 for our other barrel. Yeah, okay, so we're just going to do that. Now let's change the aura type and put a big blast on this so we can see where it is. The easiest way to do that is to aura type. Here we go. Big white column. So if we change the aura type to 7, let's do the same thing for 39, our last object, and maybe we can locate it. Aura type 7. Okay, so I just saved that. I'm going to repack the IT. Oh, I didn't move the item to 0. Isolate. Sometimes these are very, very, very close together. So basically what the best thing to do, what I didn't do last time, is select all the vertices, hit them to 0. Now this 0 should be in the middle where all these are, and then essentially what we can do is kind of move the right angled one to where 0 should be, and then hit 0. That's as close as we're going to get to 0. Okay? So now we're going to export the entire ITA, or sorry, what did I just do? Did I move the right thing? Yes, so we're moving the entire ITA to be exported. Oh, that's the ETS, don't make that mistake again. 30, here we go. Bam, bam, bam. Repack. I'm not even sure what item we're going to get out of this. It'll be a surprise. So let's now look at our game. I'm going to try and not break both of these barrels. Okay, there it is where it should be with a big white blast. What do we get? Oh, that's the shotgun. Was it actually there? God, see, this is one of the most tricky files to work with, and it's because there's so many different parameters that get edited that it's very easy to make mistakes. Now, I think I know what's going on here. I don't have an ITM model loaded for this shotgun. If I use another item, let's make it I don't know, something that we can really see. Let's make it a hand grenade. Number 39, item number 1. Save. Now, the reason for that is those models that we see in the game are located in another file called the ITM, and that's explained in this tutorial. I am using the master ITM, which contains all the models, but apparently that model is not in my master ITM, which I am going to need to update, which is what I suspect. So to confirm that, I'm just going to look at and see if that grenade is there. Is our grenade model there? Yes. It's slightly beneath the ground, but it's there. I can see it. Maybe the shotgun was there all along. In any case, there it is. But for the other one, I don't know what's going on. So let's have a look at that. Let's look at the ETS IDs that are here. Okay, so we know that ETS ID 24 is for item 28. Oh, I put in the number 26, but I should. Do you see where I erred there? In the other one that we did, which I believe was 29, yeah, we put the ETS ID, oh, was it 29? Appearance type, 26, what the hell is going on there? Never seen that. See, I'm tired, so I'm making all kinds of mistakes. But it's good for you to see that I make mistakes, because you'll understand that you will make mistakes too. So 28 and 26. See, I really messed up here. I moved the ETS over here. I did all kinds of weird things. The ETS should have stayed where it was, but good thing we didn't repack. In any case, I'll just put it kind of where it was. Where is the other one? 28. Yeah, this is where it was, kind of. Anyway, I think we changed item 29. If I'm not mistaken, I must have, because this is wrong. Actually, if I do Control Z on all of this, it will jump around to where I was before. That's the great part. But yeah, it was 29. So our problem was that our appearance type wasn't set correctly, and also the ETS ID, for whatever reason, didn't get put in. So that should be ETS ID 20. And so we have an aura type of 7. Actually, let's use another one. Let's use big yellow with a bonus time. Yeah, we'll be able to see that. All right, so let's try that. We're going to repack the ITA. I mean, this is a fairly straightforward tool to use, but for some reason, I always make small mistakes. what have I done there? I just see I put the UDAS in the UDAS. The UDAS goes in here. And it's the slightest mistake, even the smallest little byte gone wrong or a typo can make everything not work. So we know that this one, what that is. Let's try this one. There we go. And what do we got? We have the first aid spray. There it is. Okay, so now you know how to move these items around and move ETS things around. You can, so other things that you can move are the ladders that are around the game. There's a ladder over here that doesn't appear until a certain event takes place. But in general, you know, anything that's breakable. Oops, I set this off. See, this ladder should be here now. Yeah, you see? So, again, if we want to, let's just do one last thing. I'll just show you quickly to add another. Oh, you can see here that I did not move this to 0, and it still was placed in the correct place. So we might not necessarily have to move this to 0. In any case, let's take the last one, number 40, and duplicate it. So we're going to make 41 now. And let's just stick that right at the door. So we're going to export all, oh, we need a trigger zone for it too. So 41. Okay, so we're going to export that to the ITA. I'm going to quickly show you that we need to update this to 42. We'll copy all the parameters from 40. And then paste. Change this to 41. The first thing that we update is the data block index. That goes up 1. And let's change the item number to a yellow herb 1C. Now, the next part is important too. I believe this offset needs to go up. It's 10, it's 29, it's 28, 25. These are all script links. And so it's best to look at what all the rest of those are. 24. They usually go up numerically. 28, 29, 2D. But this one's 10 for whatever reason. I'm going to change it to just 31 to be much higher than the rest of them. That needs to change. If we wanted that to be infinite, we would change it to the same number as another one. Okay, so we've updated the data block index and offset 127 by 1. We've changed this, and the aura type we can change to 1. Now, one of these is the trigger radius. I don't think we have to worry about that. And we've updated the item data count. So now we're good to go. So we've just basically added a new item out of thin air. All right, that should work. There it is. Okay. So yeah, pretty straightforward. We can move stuff, put it in boxes and barrels. You can do the same thing with enemies too, hey? Like, instead of putting it in a barrel, the ETS ID, if you use the Japanese tools and you look at the ELS edit, where is it? Why is my brain not working? Anyway, this is a shortcut to it. If we open up the file for R100, 100, there's 101. You'll see that these are all the enemies here. Normally they are, I think, type 12, but I've changed all mine to 15. So these are the enemy IDs on the side here. So if I wanted my shotgun to appear when I kill one of these enemies, I would use the ETS ID used in here, as long as it didn't conflict with one of the IDs that we see in here. So for example, the ETS ID is 22 in here. We wouldn't be able to use it for, or actually we might, because the parameter is appearance type 1 or 2. So actually this one looks like it's item 77. What's that? I think that's the ruby. Oh yes, so here's a perfect example. The very first entry in the ITA in number R101 is an enemy dropping an item, and it is ETS ID 1C, which translates to, let me just look on my phone quickly in my hex. Anyway, whatever the ID is for the chainsaw guy. So when you kill the chainsaw guy, you get the ruby, and to do that, you change the appearance type to 1, and this is the chainsaw guy's ID. I'll actually just quickly look up what that is. What is it, 1C? Oops, 1C, 28. So if we look in here, oh, we were actually just right on it. I've changed the ID, but I can tell that it's the chainsaw guy because the health is at 3,000 and the weapon is 10, which is the chainsaw. So there you have it. 28 in decimal is 1C, and then in here the ETS ID is 1C when the appearance type is 1. Makes total sense, right? Kind of like make you really work for it. But anyway, that concludes this part of the tutorial for the ETS and ITA. Stay tuned for more. Thank you.